All you have to do is close your eyes and listen.
Welcome to TSGG Chat, Episode 7. I'm your host, Kevin Bork. We've got a great show this week. We're talking about the update for No Man's Sky in July.
Everyone in here just died.
Why would
I haven't introduced you yet. We're also talking about Devil May Cry 5, Assassins Creed Odyssey, Forza Horizon 4, and then Anthem. We're going to touch on Anthem a little bit.
A little bit about Anthem. A little bit. Got to be in every show, right?
But first, head over to tsgg.online and sign up for our weekly newsletter. It's completely free, and it comes with a welcome gift for becoming a member. Also follow us on Twitter at TheSocialGG and watch our YouTube videos. When you do, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We would like you to consider going over to patreon.com/TSGG to see the many subscription levels that we offer. For only $1 a month, you'll get early access to almost all of the podcasts and videos that we offer for free on services like Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, YouTube, and others. Why wait longer when it's only $1? Now, you've already heard one. Now let's hear the rest. Who's joining me this week? Guys?
Hey, it's Jake.
Good to be here. Same as usual.
This week we have Jake, Brett, and Brennon joining me.
The whole crew is here.
The crew.
We're partners.
TSGG squad.
First up, I want to touch on the Game Awards. I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but it has been announced. The date, time. It's going to be Thursday, December 6th.
That's the day after my birthday. Nice to know my birthday's on a Wednesday.
8:30 Eastern.
I'll be 24 years old.
It will once again live stream for free across
Excellent.
all gaming, social, and digital platforms around the world.
And God of War will win everything.
Yeah, you could be correct on that one. It's going to be hard to beat God of War.
We'll see.
What do you think compared?
We'll see.
Well, Red Dead's coming out.
Spider-Man.
Oof.
Spider-Man's not
true.
going to beat it.
I mean, it could.
Fallout 76 does come. Will
Fallout
be
76 will have a chance because it's a Bethesda game and looks really good.
Oh, you're just talking specifically Game of the Year?
Odyssey
Other-
will have a
other
chance. I'm talking
categories.
Game of the Year.
I'm talking
But if you're talking
action
about
game.
winning every action game,
Spider-Man's going to probably be a top 3.
Well, it'd have to compete against God of War, Monster
Red Dead
Hunter,
Redemption.
Red Dead. Monster Hunter was huge.
Monster Hunter
forget
was
Monster
huge.
Hunter.
It'll probably win best online multiplayer game.
That
Most likely.
easy crank out of 200 hours, and then we all just kind of stopped.
I
Just
died
like
a little.
Everybody
inside.
else?
We played 200 hours in the first week. So.
It was insane.
Hell of a year for Capcom.
It was rough.
Speaking of Capcom, we might as well go right into Devil May Cry 5. Another title.
Good
by
segue.
Capcom. Yeah.
That's
You
nice.
like that?
Excellent.
That's
Well
pretty
done.
We all appreciate that, Kevin.
Let's give a
All
So-
those listeners out there, you just
Uh,
vote for Kevin as your favorite TSGG, just for that right there.
I mean,
Premium.
I was already
segue.
the favorite. So,
Not what the poll says.
IGN reported that Devil May Cry 5, the director was talking story details,
Mhm.
and a playable demo will be at Gamescom. So this game is much further along than I had thought it was.
What's the story details?
So I'm just going to skim through the article and pull out some of the good bits.
Did you know Alana Pierce left IGN?
No, I did not.
Yep.
When did that happen?
She just announced that the other day that she was leaving them.
Did she say where she's going?
Nope.
Really?
Mhm.
That's interesting.
I
Very
think she'll be
interesting, right?
okay with her
Yeah, it should be fine.
several 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
130K.
So back to Devil May Cry. They're saying that this is a direct sequel to Devil May Cry 4, and is set a few years after the events of the game, which was the Nero one, not the DMC reboot one.
Right.
DMC was pretty good, honestly.
Nero is now running a mobile demon hunting agency out of his van, which was alluded to in the trailer that we saw, and has been gifted the neon Devil May Cry sign from Dante. His weaponized robotic arm is called the Devil Breaker and has a number of uses that fans might be able to pick up by watching the trailer closely.
Do we know who the antagonist is? Are they bringing Virgil back? Or...
That would be awesome. However, Itsuno also touched on the photorealistic graphics, saying that the game manages to avoid the uncanny valley. It still plays with that tight Capcom play control, but still feels at home with realistic graphics. And he said, one last message to fans. He's confident that what he's made will exceed even your expectations. He says the game is currently 75% done.
I thought you were about to say
wow.
$75 and it was going to hurt me deep.
Even
They're not.
no.
Not
Next
yet.
gen.
Yeah, maybe.
Next gen, you're getting
We'll
that
see.
price increase. It's going to happen. I thought, honestly, it was going to happen this gen. It didn't. I was so happy. But next gen, it's easily going up $10.
Oh yeah, I could see 60 to 80 or 70 to 80.
Yikes.
So the game
I think
is
it'll stay at 60.
75%
I think so, too.
done. No, it's not staying at 60.
I think it will.
I think it will.
No way.
Well,
$69.99
disagree.
guaranteed.
We'll see in the future.
I hope it will.
I hope it will too, but it's not going to. Games cost too much to develop now.
I'm going to need those facts.
What facts?
There are none, precisely. We
What
know
facts do
nothing
you
on
need?
this.
The only fact you need
It's the same
is
thing
that
that
you
happened from
need
like PlayStation 2 to
be aware
PlayStation 3.
your games are going up.
What do you mean?
They were
Maybe
all-
PlayStation
almost all of them
to
are 60.
PlayStation 2.
No, PlayStation
2 to
2
3
PlayStation
changed, too.
3, the price went
Two-
up from 40 to
PlayStation
60.
2, they were $40, $39.99.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was like 5
And
at the
they
time.
went up to
So was I,
$59.
but I
Yeah,
know.
well, we're trying to educate you.
You're older than me. What do you mean? You were,
2
you were
years.
the same age as me when I was 5? That doesn't
7.
make any sense.
7.
Shut up
I'm,
and
I'm
shut
knowing
down.
more about it.
Shut down.
Sit down.
I know what I
Okay,
said.
time out, boys. Time out.
Back to DMC.
75% done. They
Which is
teased
insane.
that Nero and Dante will face their strongest foe yet.
So that
Virgil?
hints it not being a reboot. Like it's not going to be a Virgil or something they've seen.
The
that
story-
seems like it's going to be something new.
Maybe. I hope so. I mean, I do like Virgil a lot, though. Virgil's awesome. The story will apparently focus on something mysterious happening in the demon world, with Nero setting off to find something or someone he somehow lost.
That's super vague.
Yeah.
Do we know?
And that's all we got.
Could it be
The
Dante?
Q2 2019 release is what is set
Oh,
for
so
now.
summer.
And for those of you that don't know, Gamescom takes place Tuesday, August 21st through Saturday, August 25th in Germany. And if you want to go there, their tickets are on sale at their official website. Thoughts on Devil May Cry, guys?
You do we know if you get to play as Dante at all, or is it strictly Nero?
That has not been
Released yet?
talked about.
I think that's probably who's missing. Who Nero was looking for, just the way that the trailer showed it. They kind of left Dante out of it completely until the end.
Yeah, you just kind of got a little teaser of him.
So I think that's probably what's going on. Well, that's my theory on it.
I
It's
don't
kind of
think so.
exciting that it's a summer game next year because summer is really it's kind of a lax time for games. Like if you look
Like
around
right
right
now?
now, there's not anything.
Yeah, like right now,
It's
Devil May
terrible.
Cry releasing is going to do very well.
Yeah, absolutely it would. And so it's kind of exciting that we had never heard about it, and then all of a sudden it's
75% done.
here it is, and it's 75% done. It's coming out next year, and
Yeah.
within like 6 months or
Well,
a year.
a year.
Yeah, well, being 75% done, coming out in a year, I see that coming out. I don't see it getting delayed.
Right. Oh yeah.
Well, if it's 75% done,
Yeah.
I mean,
They're not going to delay it. And it's Capcom. They don't.
they
Really
don't really
do that
delay
anyway,
games,
so-
right?
I mean, also, another game for Capcom coming out is Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Mhm.
Nobody knew anything about that, and it's coming out in January. So that was actually playable at E3, which was surprising to me. And the the feedback is extremely positive for that game. So
Good.
It plays like Resident Evil 4, but it's Resident Evil 2. So if you guys like Resident Evil 4, you're going to love this because this is a fantastic story. I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything. I suggest that you don't, just so that you can get the full experience of this game.
Wasn't 4 also about Leon?
Yeah,
Yes.
but he was
Didn't
older.
talk any
This
about
is
his
Leon's first day
origin?
on the job. Like, this is his first day on the job, and he says that in the game, too.
He's the
So
rookie cop.
he is the rookie cop. And they nailed his look. He looks really young in that trailer, too, so that was really good. A shock for sure, as you guys all saw when I started freaking out. And you guys are like,
very excited.
what is this game? I don't even know.
Squealing.
I'm too young.
I was 6 years old when this game came out.
Yeah, that
Could've
game
played
would have
4.
fucking scared the shit out of
Just
you
not
if you
really a
played that.
Resident Evil fan.
4
Tried
was good.
7. Was not for me.
7 is terrible.
You didn't
Or
like
no,
7?
7's good. I meant 6. 6 was terrible.
Yeah.
6 was the last one that Leon was in. It was not good. They kind of did like this mashup. Leon and Chris were in there, but you played their own stories, and it was just not good. But
Got
7, they went back to their roots, which is great because that's what Resident Evil is supposed to be all about. And 2 and 1 and 4 are like that. So, did you like 7?
I did
He
not
didn't get
very
to the
far
house.
Into it. I got into the house.
Why? You didn't
I
like
was
it?
not going down into
He
the
doesn't
boiler
play
room,
scary
my
games.
man.
Oh, you couldn't handle that?
I was not going into the boiler room. I was like, all right, I'm done. I know there's something in there. I ain't doing that.
Well, first of
tell you-
all, he yelled at me because
Okay,
I was going
First
to
of
my
all,
bedroom.
You're walking to the house, and you see like the creepy guy walking in front of you who somehow doesn't notice me, even though I was sprinting like 4 or 5 feet away from him. And I said, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm out. I ain't messing with him. That's his house."
So he shut it off, and
Turn
then he
around,
yelled
go
at
back
me
to my
because I was leaving. in the
That's
living
this
room.
guy's house.
He
I'm
wants you to
going
leave.
home.
Yeah, so I came back out. I moved my entire Xbox and everything so that I could be out here
wasn't
playing video
enough.
games with him.
He wasn't
Turned
talking
it back
to me.
on. I had
Wasn't
my
enough.
headset on. No, I had my headset on talking to. I was playing Overwatch.
But you left
See?
him alone.
Yes,
But
exactly.
That was
he
it.
was
He came
alone,
in his own
so he
little
shut it
world.
back off.
So, I have a similar story to this. When I was a young boy, I played
50,000
Resident Evil
years ago.
1. Came out on PlayStation 1. And I was at my sister's house. And her soon-to-be husband at the time, they went out, and I was babysitting their kid, and they had a PlayStation, and I didn't know what it was, and I was super excited because I like video games, and I was like, yeah, PlayStation. And they had 2 games, and Resident Evil was one of them, and I was like, oh, I don't know, it's probably pretty good. So I got it, and I started playing it. Do you know Resident Evil 1?
No.
So
I gotta show you like the first minute of it. You'll fucking
There's
laugh your fucking
there's a
face off.
scene in this that is the most iconic scene of Resident Evil. You probably know the scene. You may. So you go into the mansion. You finally get there. Looking back on it now, it's hilarious. But as a child, and
Right.
playing this for the first time, and this was before the zombie craze. So you guys have grown up through zombie mania.
Right.
This was before that. So we're playing, or not we, it's just me, and I'm playing it, and you get into the mansion, and you just this game is not an action game. It's a game where you're solving puzzles, and you're walking
Right.
room to room, trying to figure things out, trying to open doors, trying to collect things. So as that's and mysterious things are happening. So, and there are NPCs, and they're telling you things, and then they're gonna go check out another part of the mansion, and then you go and you're go down this corridor, and you turn, and as you turn, it goes to a cinematic, and the cinematic is your character's walking, and there's this person crouched over another who is laying on the floor, and you just hear like these crunching noises, and it stands up, and it turns around and looks at you with the eyes, and it stands up, and then you see its face, and its lips are missing, and it's just a zombie. And at that time, that was incredible graphics, and yeah, that scared the
Was
living shit
incredible.
out of me. It was incredible for the time.
Yeah.
It scared the living shit out of me. I could not sleep that night. Couldn't
Along with
couldn't
the,
sleep.
to be fair, the mechanics of the game made it even more like
It
difficult
was so
to play
worse
it
because you couldn't shoot. Like, you had a gun and you're shooting, and zombies just walking at you. The mechanics of it, you couldn't do a headshot. You're just shooting, and it's just like and it's just coming, and it bites you, and you get like 2 or 3 bites, and you're dead. It's over. And that's all. That's as far as I made it. The very first time I played Resident Evil, I turned that thing off. I ran into the bedroom, hid under the blankets like any kid would do, and I stayed there.
Man,
I did not move.
Keep in mind, he was a child. I'm a 21-year-old man. Can't do stuff.
Same reaction.
to be fair,
Witnessed it myself.
It's
I'm
just on my couch. I
I'm-
just rolled over, went to sleep, said, "No, done with this."
yeah, I'm with Brennan on this
Return in
one.
this game.
I actually am a giant wuss when it comes to playing.
That's an understatement for all you viewers and listeners out there. Jake is a humongous wuss.
I can't stand scary games, horror games, because
No, like,
But you play them.
oh hell yeah, because
He
I
plays
like
many
to
of them.
overcome my fear by
You
know.
don't. You don't overcome anything.
see,
Nope.
games like Alien Isolation, I could do. Have done. Games like Prey, I can do without a problem.
I really need to
Jake
get into
couldn't.
that one.
Jake could not do
That
Prey.
one looks
I
really,
didn't. I
really
didn't.
good.
You see, the thing I didn't like about Prey is that they just left you to do your own devices. So I'm just like,
Yeah, it's a
What the
Bethesda
fuck do I
game,
do?
my guy.
It was
What they
all
do.
like, and it was jump scares
That's all it is.
everywhere.
And
I wasn't worried about that because at that point I was like, I could just make everything into foam. I don't give a shit anymore. Like I'm just like,
Oh.
You had the foam gun.
4 coffee
you
cups.
start
One of
with
you's a mimic. Like,
Speaking of Bethesda, Wolfenstein 2 on Switch this week.
oh,
I'm shocked that a game like that went to the Switch, honestly. That
Well, they're
little
trying to expand
machine's a
into
little
that world.
beast.
Yeah.
That thing's a beast.
they're trying to
it's
draw
crazy.
people like me in who won't play Nintendo because
It's
not really
childish.
options out there for
Well,
people
they're-
who
they're
don't want to play
definitely- they're
Zelda or
definitely going
Pokemon or
My man,
they're pushing it
you
now.
do know Fortnite's on Switch, right? It's taken over.
Don't tell people that.
Oh, people
we
know.
want to hide that.
You know what's the
I
best
mean
part
Brennan.
about that, though?
Don't tell people that Brennan plays that Fortnite because he's my brother and I look bad by association.
So,
I can't tell you the last time I played Fortnite. I'm like level
Fortnite-
20.
yesterday.
so here's the thing: you can talk as much shit as you want to about Fortnite until you play it and it consumes you. Then you're in, and that will happen. Everybody that I know has talked so negatively about it until they played it, and they're like, "Do you want to play Fortnite?"
See, that's-
No,
it
I've
didn't
played
happen to me.
Fortnite. I don't have
to
that
be
reaction.
to be fair, I've done the same thing, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
mean-
really like their battle pass. I love the way they have set up their.
Oh yeah, the game itself
System.
and
They're
the business
absolutely
aspects
smart
of it
about
are
it.
fantastic.
That is seriously the way to do.
And I'm extremely
To do
glad that like other games, Anthem, cough, is following their method of this because it's so much better.
Wow, man, we made it 17 minutes in before you mentioned Anthem. This
No,
time.
we talked
I'm
about
so
it at the
proud of
beginning and how we were going to mention it.
you. Oh, damn it, we did.
We did.
Yeah, we
made
did make
about
it. We did.
45 seconds. That's
45 seconds.
what we
of it.
try for here.
I missed
But
it.
that's
How
what
did I
mean,
miss
is,
that?
Like
part?
I'm really glad that, and I hope other developers see that as well and continue that. Like
Yeah, I'm interested to see the path that they go with it.
I don't care if you have like microtransactions, but if people are going to spend the money, show them what they're getting and give it to them. And that's
Yeah.
what Fortnite does.
And don't make it pay to win.
And that's what
Yeah.
Anthem's doing.
Get the
nowadays.
game mechanics out of the transactions.
Yeah, with it. Yes,
The game mechanics should be involved with one transaction. That's the initial purchase.
buying the game. Yeah,
Anything else should only be cosmetic ever.
and you know people
Unless
are gonna buy
you're
the
talking
things for
about-
those cosmetics. You know they are.
Right, yeah. And
Mortal Kombat.
so many people are going to get that. Yeah,
They let you
look at
buy
that.
skins. Oh my god.
They do.
They do?
Yeah. There's skin packs in that game.
No, I've never looked.
Yeah, there are. Actually, they gave a lot of them away for free.
Yeah, I know. Especially with the XL version
Yeah.
of the game.
Well, XL, I think, came with everything.
Not the stuff that was released afterwards, though.
I don't think there was anything after
I
XL.
don't know, but
XL was the last one.
Oh.
That's what I mean. That's what I was excited for E3 because I thought it's time for a new one. They usually do every other.
MK11.
Yeah. So we didn't get it this year, so we'll definitely get it next year. So that'll be on my top of the list. Our
Or-
predictions for next year.
or
Return
they'll
of Shao
finally
Kahn.
drop the hat. They'll finally just put it down.
No,
No.
that's
No,
never
That's
gonna
it.
happen.
He's
I
out.
know.
He's out of here.
The fighting game of our generation is just going to fade away into obscurity. Right, Jake? Makes sense.
So before we move on
Get
from Capcom, I just want to say, well, actually, we're moving on from Capcom. I just want to say one more thing about Fortnite on Switch to you,
Oh
and that was that on this platform, these are all brand new players, so it is so easy to
You're telling me
win
to go
on Switch
feed
right now.
On
They don't know how to build
newbies?
yet, so if you want easy wins, jump on the Switch. and kill the noobs. Because most of the core players are still playing on PS4 and Xbox
Right.
and PC.
Or PC, yeah.
Or
And
on
it's
Switch,
it's
Xbox, and
well,
PC,
Switches are
but
also,
not
like-
PlayStation because
correct
they don't
because
that.
You
they're
usually
holding
see
out for some
children.
reason that is really going to hurt that company. I don't understand this move, honestly. I'm a big Sony fan, and what they're currently doing is just blowing my mind. You can't go from
They've
being
chosen
number
their hill to
one.
die on, and that's the hill they're gonna die
It's
on.
pretty much. It seems like that, but they can just turn it around. We won't even have
I mean,
this conversation.
eventually they'll change the
They're
policy.
gonna
They have to.
cave. They're gonna cave, but what's it gonna take?
Right.
Like if Fortnite, the most popular game in the world, can't make them cave, what can? They can't
The
be like this
next
going into
most
next gen.
popular
No
game.
way. They'll lose.
You would-
Microsoft's
Don't even
gearing
know
up,
if there is
ready
a
to go.
PlayStation next gen.
Yeah, there is.
Well, of
Well,
course
there-
there is, but it's
there
not
will be,
confirmed
yeah,
or
but-
talked about. Or
But that's the biggest issue that they're gonna face is that if Microsoft and Microsoft has come out and said we're focusing on console gaming now.
Yeah.
If they really start that and Sony sticks with their we're not working with anybody or whatever, and Microsoft's like,
outside
hey guys,
assets.
we definitely want to work with Nintendo. We
Yeah.
already have the computer. We already work with PC. Like
well, they
Yeah,
own PC,
they own
so.
PC, so that's
yeah,
a no-brainer.
obviously,
But the Nintendo Microsoft friendship is getting stronger now because this over the past week, like Nintendo and Microsoft have been taking shots at Sony. First, they did it with Minecraft.
Why wouldn't you?
Now they're doing it
Oh.
with Fortnite.
that Minecraft Twitter. Did you guys see that?
no.
No.
It was fucking insane.
It was.
It was bad.
I'll have to look that
It
up.
was, and they did it with Fortnite as well because of the debacle.
It just makes
as-
sense. I mean, it's an industry. You're
It is
work
like
together to be
I-
better.
Okay, so all right,
And they're refusing to do that.
And at the same time,
Doesn't
most
make any sense.
well, not most gamers, but a lot of gamers have both anyway, or all three.
right. So I was just about to go into that. I understand Sony not wanting to do the crossplay aspect of it, considering Microsoft said in order for us to do crossplay, it's on our platform. So there are a lot of legal issues there.
That just makes sense though, because they do the same thing with PC because they own it. So they can't really do it any other way.
Yeah,
unless
but
they
you
give
can see
Sony-
why Sony could
all
be
the power.
cautious because of
Yeah,
legal issues.
absolutely.
So I understand that. What I don't understand is why they would block
Games
what
like
he
Fortnite.
was getting to, like a game like Fortnite, where that game, our user information is stored in Epic servers.
Right.
And we use our systems to connect to their server, but Sony blocks us from connecting to
Right,
their server.
That's why they can't.
There's so
Use
many
their
games
profiles.
that they would be able to just.
And we're gonna start seeing that with
Yeah.
Nintendo,
Overwatch?
and Microsoft. and-
Right. Well,
Overwatch
no,
would be a big
Overwatch
one.
doesn't do that either. Overwatch is the same as Sony. Like you
Yeah,
you can't
do it
play
all
on
by
all
themselves.
they are
Blizzard
account
is
locked.
allowed.
Well, that
Yeah.
that has to be.
It
Could you
doesn't have
imagine,
to be.
Could you imagine Overwatch when you're playing PC players and you're playing on
No,
console?
I'm not talking about cross play. I'm
Oh.
talking about you as a player.
Just
Oh,
your
okay.
profile
You have
information.
you have all the
between-
consoles.
Yes.
Like you want to log into Overwatch
Gotcha.
and say, okay, I have some friends on Xbox. I want to play with them, but you want all your shit.
Mhm.
So you don't want to have this is my level 22
your
over
gold
here.
guns.
This is my level 50 on this. This is my level 60 over there.
As a person who
have
has
level
Overwatch
180.
on a couple different systems.
What did you just say?
My Overwatch character is level 180.
Wow.
Oh, excuse
My
me.
Overwatch character, my main, isn't even level 50.
I think mine's.
I have a
Brett
170.
loved that game
I have 160.
Then-
It was a good game, but it
And
got
they ruined
boring
it.
for me real quick. Real quick.
with Brigitte.
I have more hours in that game than any other game I've ever played. Wow. That's a true fact.
Oh, my man
It
didn't
just-
play enough Mass Effect.
It just
Yeah.
passed
Nearly.
Monster Hunter, actually.
How did it just pass Monster Hunter? We only put like 200 hours in Monster Hunter.
Exactly. I don't
Play
have
some
many
more
hours.
games.
don't-
Longer and harder.
Yeah.
I play all the games. I don't play them.
Don't
consecutively
stop
and-
until your body physically cannot support you if you do not eat.
That's fair. That's
Stop
what we
for
did with
showers.
Monster Hunter.
Showers are necessary.
So,
Food is not.
speaking of multiplayer games, I want to touch a little bit on No Man's Sky.
These segues are incredible today. You're on. Your
I'm on
game.
point
The
tonight.
best
guys.
I've
I'm on
ever
point.
Game.
What was the update for No Man's?
So, the update is that it's coming to Xbox One. It's debuting on July 24th.
Is it going to be on Game Pass?
I doubt it.
Well, then
Well,
I'm
then
not
it's not
paying it.
going to be played.
However, I don't know if you guys know about No Man's Sky or not.
I heard
Yeah.
it was a total flop and garbage.
They
Is it
fixed it.
Right and wrong.
They fixed it. It flopped in the beginning. They did a lot.
Well,
to
it
help
flopped in the beginning for a good reason. They promoted this game as something that it was not. And so when you started playing this game and discovered this is nothing like what it was said to be, everybody left. But there were some people that stayed because as far as a video game goes, if you just wanted to jump into a game, fly spaceships around, go to distant planets, it's all seamless. Like you just go from planets, you actually
Right.
break through the atmosphere, and I mean that's such a cool transition to experience. So I mean the mechanics are solid. So you're shooting asteroids and meteors, and it's basically it's Minecraft in space. Like you're gathering materials and stuff like that to
Mhm.
fuel. It's a simulation. But they had said it was so much more than that, and then it turned out to not be. And then
Right.
the interactions were with the NPCs were not good, and also one of the biggest aspects of it, multiplayer, didn't exist. In fact, they said that you may never even see another player.
because the universe is so large. That
Right.
Which they proved that wrong because they had two people meet in the same planet and
They did,
they were in the same spot.
but they couldn't see each other.
They could not see each other.
So they discovered it was instanced, which they said it was not as well. So they got in trouble for that too. But that was a
That
long
would
time ago.
literally make it impossible. If it was
Yeah,
instant,
that's why. It
so you
became
had to
impossible.
meet on the same planet and be in the same instance. What are the odds?
However,
Low.
so Sony had actually, this was an indie game,
Mhm.
and Sony actually financed it and made it exclusive. So when it
Good job, Sony.
when it came out and it didn't go as it planned, it was kind of a flop. So, however, they didn't give up on it, and they continually rolled things out and rolled out more and more features, such as building and stuff like that, just making it more of a game. So, jumping into it now on Xbox on July 24th, that's going to be the next update as well, which is bringing in fully fledged multiplayer. Which is now, this game is now going to be what they were saying it was going to be back
When it
when
released
they announced it.
a year and a half ago.
So
Yeah, they just pulled a Destiny. Make a game good after 3 years.
yeah, this update's focusing on the multiplayer. Limited multiplayer like already exists, but this is far more player interaction is going to be
Right.
in this one. You'll actually be able to group up with your friends to survive, build, race, and simply relax in the massive space. It is a massive space, and
Yeah.
it's
I mean, it's somewhat of a never-ending universe, right? You can.
Kind of sounds like just a space Sea of Thieves. How many skeletons are in this game? Tell me that.
I
Yeah,
haven't
but-
seen any skeleton.
The only difference between
Is there combat in the game?
I
But it
mean,
is similar to Sea of Thieves.
not quite, because at least with No Man's Sky, you had a progression system that was
There was
worth.
progression.
There was attempts because you had to
Yeah.
build things to go further.
You did.
Mhm.
So with Sea of Thieves, it was, oh, I like the shiny gold sword. It does nothing for me, but I'm gonna stab a bitch either way. Like it's just
Like there are
So there are
many-
different guns and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
there's different guns,
Yes.
different
Stats
elemental properties
change.
to them,
Okay.
and you have to go to different planets to get the resources to power them up and build new ones or trade. And so there's a huge ecosystem there.
For all we hate on Sea of Thieves, it still has a massive player base.
Huge.
So
Huge.
something about Sea of Thieves, I don't know if you guys knew this. They had a 3-month forecast for projections.
Mm-hmm.
They reached that in 2 days.
Wow.
So they're doing okay.
Well, they just put it on Game Pass, so it makes sense actually.
Game Pass pretty much probably got them to the mark in
And
2
it
days.
was $1 in the month of June.
Yeah.
So
So thanks
still
for
is.
that.
If you get
Which, by the way, is incredible. We really got to give some respect to Microsoft for Game Pass. That's just
Yeah, it's a
awesome.
great
all their
service.
new exclusives are going on there.
I really
So,
expected Sony to have a response for Game Pass.
I thought they were coming out with one. I read an article that said
Kevin,
they're thinking about it.
they had to build a koi pond.
Oh,
Lay
you're right.
off.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
It took
And
a
a
lot
church.
Of
and a
At
church.
a church, and
And a
And they had
dome.
to funnel everyone to the dome. It takes time, okay?
You're
A lot
right.
of time.
I know. I'm
This guy's
sorry.
always on Sony.
Sorry.
Approximately like 40
So
minutes
much
of time.
unwarranted Sony
My
hate
bad,
out of
guys.
Kevin.
My bad. My bad. 45 minutes. They could have shown us something.
45 minutes, they could have given us release dates too.
No. Sony doesn't give release dates.
Yeah,
I don't
fuck
even-
them.
I don't even
defend
care
that.
about that.
Sony tells you the
Give me
release date
release
3 weeks
dates.
before it comes out.
they're
I
gonna
don't
make
care
it
about
worth.
that. Give me something.
Actually,
No,
Sony-
I do care about that. I want to know when this game comes out.
You know what I
want
want to know when it
play.
comes out? Dream.
I have finances
Have you
I
guys
need
seen
to
this
balance
stuff
to
about
buy
this?
There hasn't even been. Well, last year at PSX they were supposed to roll out a alpha, and they never
done.
did.
Have you seen the stuff about it?
Yeah,
They've got like
Yeah, we watched the
Videos
videos.
and
yeah,
everything.
we watched the videos.
it's incredible.
The beta's coming soon, so
It's so cool.
yeah, it is really cool.
Is it an open beta or closed?
I think it might be open, but you have to sign up, I believe.
The music aspect, they
Might hit
have a
that.
video on YouTube. Definitely go
Looks
take
so
a look
good.
if you guys are watching.
Yeah, the music is really cool.
It's so
It's
in depth.
so
It
easy.
breaks down and it's so easy and in depth. It's awesome.
Could it replace Kevin?
Yes.
I'll take that as a yes.
It does say that the dreams. Oh, I actually hit the microphone. It does say the dreams are supposed to be this year, 2018. So
Really?
that's all I
Is
got.
that Sony's winter release?
It literally says
I wouldn't
2018.
even mind. That's awesome.
That
The game looks
I would
incredible.
mind because I'm really fingers crossed for Ghost of Tsushima.
It's no chance.
No, not gonna happen.
Not this year.
Guys, come on, give me a beta or something.
It's like
Give me another video.
probably second quarter of next year.
Just show me more
I'll
combat.
give you that.
No, and it's gonna be third quarter.
I just wanted to
Fall?
touch.
It'll be fall.
Yeah, it'd probably be fall.
Yep.
It'll be
For some
fall.
reason, I don't understand why second quarter for games is so there's
Empty?
Nothing. It's so empty. Yeah.
I mean,
It's-
I bought Elder
it's
Scrolls
summertime,
Online
guys.
to try and fill this.
Yeah,
so
it's
I'm
summertime.
dying here.
Yeah, I know, but still, like,
What do you mean? It's
don't tell
summertime.
me
That's
that
when
all
that's
these
when kids
gamers
are out of
trying to spend
school.
their time outside.
This is when you should be dropping games.
That's when people travel.
and are spending time outside. And yeah, I understand, but I still want to play my video games.
Yeah, I don't like the
Yeah.
outside. So
Well, the markets show when to buy games, so that's when they
It's
sell.
around
We're
Yeah, no,
Christmas
but you don't
time
even
when
see like
everyone's inside.
see like small releases or small games come out like right now.
talking about Mario Tennis Aces just came out. That's a huge title for Nintendo.
Yeah, for Nintendo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
can't wait to play tennis. I said sarcastically.
well, that's you, one person out
Not
of
Federer.
millions that are gonna play.
No, but I'm talking about like
I could be though.
anything else.
What else? We had Vampire just came out.
That was 2 months ago, June something,
It's June.
Beginning of June. Yep.
June 6th, I think.
So we
Was
had
that released?
Vampire.
We had Vampire. What else?
We have Aces.
We
Which
got
was a good
Aces.
title. Vampire was good.
What else is
something's coming out next month. I forgot what it is.
But it
July
wasn't-
release.
It was a double A title. So do we have any triple A?
So I want to touch on AA for a minute and give a shout out to a AA studio.
Don't nod.
No, not Don't Nod.
Well, shout out to them too because they're great.
Okay.
They
shout out
actually
to
have,
Don't Nod.
They have June 26th. They have the Adventures of Captain Spirit that comes out for free.
But the studio I want to actually. Oh yeah, Captain Spirit. That's the
It's the one
In
that's
the,
in the
Life is
Life
Strange,
is Strange
2
universe,
but it's not Life is Strange 2.
Yep.
But they did say that the episodes are coming, I think, September for Life is Strange 2. So it's not that far away. It's something to hold the fans
Yeah.
over.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it's free. So
Yeah, it's free. Jump in and play it. They tell great
Is it
stories.
free on Game Pass or is it?
It's
free?
free,
it's just free.
period,
That's right.
on all platforms. But the AA studio I wanted to give a shout out to was Ninja Theory, now owned by Microsoft, as we saw at E3. But I'm giving them a shout out because Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, hit 1 million sales on all platforms, and that's incredible. So
Good for them.
congrats to them.
Good for them.
That had a great ending. That game.
I love that game.
That game's pretty.
It's beautiful for a AA studio.
For
That's incredible.
Well, there'll be a triple A now. They have
yeah,
Microsoft backing them
they're
now.
backed by Microsoft. So
That's true. They own them, so they got that.
their next
Octo-
title, actually, we should talk about that.
Octopath Traveler, dude.
That's
How
next
did I
month.
forget that one? That's July 13th, right?
Yes, it is.
Kevin is
Yeah.
so excited.
These are
for
both
this game.
Nintendo games, though. Like Switch.
Yeah, so
games.
what? There's millions of Switches out there.
No, I know. I have one.
Are you talking about Xbox only games? Because they don't release games.
No, PlayStation has nothing either.
No.
They're the two main consoles.
They're just
Kevin.
going to ride on
That's what we're
Fortnite
talking about.
until Red Dead comes out.
That's what I mean. Is it
Forza comes out before Red
look
Dead.
at
So does
look what's
Spider-Man.
coming in quarter 3. Everything.
All the games.
Spider-Man
games
is
in quarter three.
September.
Well, quarter 1 of next year.
Dragon Age,
Also very
Dragon Age
heavy.
11
Yeah.
is also in
Metro.
is
What did you just say?
Dragon,
Dragon
Age
Age
11.
No, Dragon Quest. Excuse me.
Oh, Dragon Quest. Yeah, that's
When's
right.
that?
That's the fuck.
I
Where's
think
the-
it's out.
the 4th actually,
Oh, yeah.
July?
good.
July?
Next week.
September.
Oh, never mind.
That's quarter
'Cause
three. That's not
you
quarter
guys were
two.
talking about Spider-Man. I'm right there right now.
Oh, yeah, that's all quarter 3 though.
Oh my god.
Quarter
the
3 is
fall.
huge. Quarter 3 is going to be
Actually, is
insane.
October still quarter 3, or is that the
Yes.
fourth quarter?
Fourth
They got
quarter is
the
November, December.
Xenoblade
It's not
Xenoblade
a
Chronicles
quarter.
2 also in
Oh,
September.
so it's got to be October.
Yeah, I was gonna say
The Golden Country,
Yeah, October,
September
November,
too.
December.
Yeah,
Valkyria
Oh.
Chronicles 4, Life is
Oh,
Strange.
that's going to be a huge game.
I don't know how they break it down.
Life is Strange 2 Episode 1. Code Vein.
Code Vein, when's that?
It's 20th.
September?
Nope, 20th of September. Yep.
Wow, September's a huge month, guys.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Pass.
January, February, March.
I just can't.
June.
I'm just not going to have time to play it. It looks like a good game, but just not going to have time.
I just can't handle the.
By the way, you were
motion
talking about
sickness that it
Horizon
gives
the
me.
other day and how great it was.
Yeah.
Graphically, I
Yeah.
would say Tomb Raider is on par with it and has been since the first.
Square Enix has always had those titles, though. They've always had
That's
beautiful
true.
looking titles.
Final Fantasy 15 is beautiful.
Stunning.
It's true.
All right.
So, good graphics.
Okay, he
So
says.
there's talking about graphics. I want
Mhm.
to talk about Assassin's Creed Origins a little bit because it was a great game, but to me, graphically, it just felt a little flat, and that's because of the desert and
That's-
the color
yes.
palette that they used.
The thing with that is, I don't think it would have felt as flat if there was actually stuff to do in 45% of their map, but there
a
wasn't.
desert.
It was just
was
desert
empty.
that you could run
Yeah.
through.
But-
But it was cool in one. You had like the mirages you could see,
Yeah.
and there was a temple there. But other than that, the desert was
Well,
just kind of.
It was when you think about it, you have to be historically accurate. It's somewhat historically accurate in a game, at least geographically. And
just
when
throw a
you,
fort per location. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not a big deal.
I
It's just
mean, you can't really
drop a-
defend it because you're right. It was very empty, and when you look around, especially like there were whole zones of the game that had nothing. So I can definitely understand that. But at the same time, with Ubisoft, this was kind of a little bit of their coming out party for Assassin's Creed. They didn't want it to be completely RPG based.
Right. Yeah.
They wanted-
it was kind of a transition to
Yes.
something new,
which
but
is
and I mean, I'm not
Odyssey
saying
is
it was
their big
bad. It
title.
looks great.
Yeah.
But something that looks much better and is more colorful is Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah.
The greens, the blues,
well, it's also
the
set in
whites,
Greece
man,
as opposed
the
to
reds,
Egypt.
Yeah,
it's
so colorful, and I'm already drawn in. Like I was not drawn in.
The ocean
Origins.
looks like the ocean. It's
Yeah.
actually the Mediterranean Sea. So
Right,
I'll
yeah.
say.
But the Mediterranean Sea in
And
this
the
game
Aegean.
looks
There's
insane.
gotta be multiple.
Like you,
Depending on which side of
you
the map.
watch the video that they showed us, and he hits that synchronization point and looks around, and it's like
It's beautiful.
I'm looking at
Probably
the
the
ocean,
Red
or,
Sea
sorry,
too.
The sea,
I'm just trying to think of
that whole.
what we'll
Greece.
see.
I mean,
Well, it
when-
depends on how much of Greece
when,
they
when
show.
they show you the map there, the map is huge and
Yeah.
incredibly extensive. I hope
Yeah.
the thing that you actually brought up, I hope that they don't have the issue with the zones where they have just nothing in them.
So we got
I don't think they will.
I don't think so either.
GameStop, or not GameStop, GameSpot did a discussion with the director
Mhm.
for inspirations and story details. And I'm just going to skim through this one a little bit too. And we know it's ancient Greece. We know it's set in 431 BC.
Making it their earliest title.
Yeah, and it's during the war between Athens and Sparta.
The Peloponnesian War.
This is correct.
Historical accuracy.
Dialogue options are not the only thing that are new, as facing the consequences of your choices was very much part of the demo. New RPG elements seem to make it a better game. There were hands-on demonstrations,
Many hands-on demonstrations.
but it's to be expected now that we know that it's actually coming out in October.
right.
So,
I really like that they added armor instead of just like a skin.
Well,
Actual armor that
the thing that-
changes.
yeah, it's
that's a good
much much heavier RPG elements. in this
right,
game.
and that's what they actually discussed with Ubisoft was that Ubisoft didn't want original Assassin's Creed fans to really be like, wow, this is a complete departure from Assassin's Creed. This has nothing to do with it. They really wanted to have that segue between like Assassin's Creed and Odyssey. So that's where they gave us Origins. And now that they've said
bridging point.
yeah, they saw the reaction to Origins was really good. So now they're coming back and saying, hey, this is full RPG. Your choices matter. Your armor matters. What you do matters. Everything is going to affect the world. This is a full RPG. It's full dive at this point.
I don't think there are a lot of. I mean, I know there are Assassin's Creed purists, but I don't think there's anyone out there begging for the return of Altair and
Right.
No.
jumping off a wall accidentally 100 times.
So I'm just going to read one of the questions that was asked, and this is, Assassin's Creed always told a contained story within history, but choices seem to play out in a larger main narrative. Is there going to be bigger payoffs or consequences of larger scale, maybe multiple endings? How much can you change the world, and how will it be reflected in the world as the game goes on?
That was
That's
one question.
fantastic question.
I
Yeah.
wrote them an essay.
So the response to
novella.
that was, we have to make decisions about how big we are going to go with certain choices. Obviously, we want some to have massive changes to the story, but we have mid-scale changes and small changes. Some parts of side quests can impact the main quest, who appears, who's around you, who's dead, who's alive, who you're friends with, who hates you. Those sort of things are all sort of feeding into both the main story and all of the side stories. And in the world itself, because the world is constantly changing. The mercenaries that are alive in your playthrough, I may never see in mine. Or maybe I kill them in my playthrough. The leaders can also be different, so there's a lot of activity and change when the players talk to each other about what their experience was, or some great fight they had with this mercenary, or the choice they made in the quest. It's going to be a very different experience for each player. So this is very much different than
Yes.
anything we've played from Assassin's Creed.
And one of the things they
Can't
did
wait.
mention there were the bounty hunters, which I think was one of the best parts of Origins. So I'm really glad they kept that and brought it back in the form of the bounty hunters in this game. I mean, that was
For sure.
easily one of my favorite aspects.
Wish there had
of the
been
game.
more.
One of-
Honestly.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
Origins, there
100%.
were like 6, 8. Not that
So,
many.
In this, they said, do you want to encourage players to do more inside stuff, especially those who tend to mainline games? Do you kind of accept that they might be missing out on some really good story bits and narrative arcs? And they said, yeah, I think the easiest example is if you look at the E3 demo, you don't have to play any of that. That's all side content in the main game, and it's true throughout huge parts of the game. And they want you to do that, and they think that you'll enjoy it. And as balance between players that want to rush the game and players that want to complete every single piece is a challenge for the developers, because they want to play both styles and they want them to be valid and work well. In an RPG, making sure that the player who does 100% of the content and the player who does only what they want they want them both to have good experiences. So they're
Mhm.
balancing that out. So they put a lot of thought and time into that.
I mean, you should always 100% like missions in an RPG. Come on.
You should, but
It's just,
there's always
who
that
mainlines an
one
RPG?
Then you wouldn't have
side
those
quest that
speedrun videos.
nobody wants to do.
Some of those side quests really help at ending games.
Some of those side quests get you things that would make the end of games very easy.
Yes.
Very true.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the big things they've also said that they're coming back to in this game, the stealth kills are actually much more of a viable option. So in the original Assassin's Creeds and things like that, it would be a one shot, and it would make sense because you sneak up and jump off of something, and
Stab
stab him in the
neck.
head or the neck with your hidden blade. So the hidden blade's not making a return. However, they've said that the stealth kill is going to be a much more viable option instead of where in Origins it did damage, but
It
you never
was so
really
dumb.
you never really stealth killed anybody.
I just
Uh,
pulled this guy off his horse and stabbed him in the throat. But he got up and two-shot me because he's a Falatic guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
so
a fan.
they're returning to that a little bit.
So there was a question, and my hopes are now dashed.
Let's hear it.
As for the modern day storyline, are
Oh.
any of the RPG elements going to play into the modern day storyline? So There
And
is definitely
misconfirmed.
modern day gameplay with Layla Hassan, but I don't want to go into that just yet.
Told you she'd come back.
Canceled my
Does that hurt
pre-order
you?
as soon as I read that. I'm just kidding. I did not.
I mean, you knew that at the end of
I knew,
Origins,
I
you
know.
had her
I
friend
know,
getting taken.
I know.
Well, spoilers. Sorry, everybody.
It's
I
kind
didn't-
of a little too late to say spoilers.
Spoilers
Spoilers
for that part I
afterwards.
just said. I apologize. I'm not
Prior
going to
to
go
this.
anymore.
We want you to fast forward at least 5 seconds.
If
But her
perhaps
story
you did hit
clearly
rewind,
isn't
prepare.
over, and I don't know why you thought they were just going to ignore that.
Because it's over.
I know.
Ignore it.
I didn't play Assassin's Creed Origins.
I was hoping just because it's pre-Creed that maybe
They
go
would
with-
just scrap it and
Yeah.
make a fully fledged
Guys.
RPG in.
The world still has to be saved, okay?
No.
Desmond's dead. Somebody else has to do it.
That's
You're,
kind
you're
of a
throwing
spoiler
all
too.
kinds of spoilers out here right now.
If you guys haven't completed Assassin's Creed 3, the 2011 release, I apologize for spoiling.
So I just want to pull one more quote out of this article. They said that Skyrim, Fallout are probably some of their favorites, and if you look at those games, they give players a lot of options, and for them, that was what they wanted to push Assassin's Creed as a franchise into, more choice for the player. There's a lot of details in this article. I suggest any Assassin's Creed fan to go over to GameSpot and read that article.
That's some tough competition they're bringing on to themselves.
Well, it's more of just like influence, really. That's
Yeah,
where
for sure.
their influence came from.
I don't know if they want to try and push into that crowd.
Anything else you guys want to touch on for Assassin's Creed?
Nope.
Well,
What was
other
it?
than it's like a living world, so
Yeah.
there are
one
warring
more thing
factions.
about that. I'm glad you said the living world because they said that, as you know, in Origins they did constant updates to it,
right.
and they're giving it that treatment again as this is their Ubisoft's way of having like a games as a service type thing. They said right now they're focused on weekly content
Holy
updates.
cow.
Well, with Origins, they did like the weekly Trial of the Gods, or it
So
might
they're
have been
going to
season-based.
continue stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you'll probably fight the Greek gods, I guess, which would be interesting. But maybe the Minotaur. I know they showed that in
kinda
the teaser
they did the
trailer.
tease, yeah.
I don't know how they're going to play that. If it's going to be an actual Minotaur, if it's going to be a guy wearing a bull's head. That's the one I would assume, just because generally these games are based in reality. But I guess we'll find out.
So apparently, Forza Horizon's Force car list was leaked early.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good list.
I have some of the list, but it's the notable part is that it's going to be over 450 vehicles.
Holy
Nice.
shit. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw a hover car, so.
We did see a hover car.
I don't know if that was a drivable hovercraft.
The guy drove it in front of him.
I'm pretty sure that's like something that happens on the maps
Mm.
because they did have that in the previous
That's true.
Forza.
So the leak came from PC fans who were pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition, and they got into the files and got the list.
I mean, that always happens.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
time.
Any specific cars you guys looking for in there?
I mean, I'm excited about the McLaren they showed, so I don't even know. You're gonna have to pick your car a list of 450. You're gonna have to dig in
Yeah,
and
for like
really
BMW, there's
discover.
25 different BMWs. in
Anything
there.
Italian. Give me an Italian car.
no, give me the Bugatti Chiron.
Buick is putting one car in the game.
Is it a
Is it
minivan?
Is it a LeSabre?
The 1987 Buick Regal GNX.
It's
That's
not
my
the
car.
LeSabre.
That's his car. He's going
Driving
for
it. No,
The
it's
Buick
not the
Sable.
LeSabre we have. But it's close enough. It's a luxury car.
Chevy's putting in, I think, said 30 something
I
cars.
mean, they
20.
own Corvettes, so.
Ford is putting 44 cars in, so there'll be lots of stuff on the side of the roads, objects to maneuver around. That was a terrible joke. Terrible.
I guess he hates Ford.
I don't
That's
actually.
the first I've
I
heard.
don't.
But
It's just
personally, more Chevy.
it's
in
an
the house.
easy,
Strong
terrible,
joke.
awful joke. What kind of car do you want to see in there, Jake? Anything?
One
you haven't
that
said a word.
One
in
that
20 minutes.
drives.
one that drives.
I want to see helicopters, personally.
I don't know. I saw the giant like hover tank thing that popped up for like 2 seconds. I was excited about that.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
I just want to see how they do the world because it's a shared open world. So
I want
I
to see
want-
these seasons.
It's
Are
got to
they
be
gonna do
instanced.
dedicated
It has
servers,
to be instanced.
instances? Because if there's 3 million people driving in the same map at the same time, personally, I think that'd be the coolest thing ever. I would
That would
cause
be insane.
so very many accidents.
How
Yep.
many accidents?
So-
There's
very
7
many.
different McLarens in this. So
Nice.
It's gonna be insane. Regardless, it's an open world driver. Like it's gonna be wild.
yeah, like because they're gonna have.
First race.
It's not just cars.
I've
They're
ever
having
been
Jeeps.
excited
They're having
for.
Land Rovers.
Yeah,
stuff like that
exactly.
in
It's
there.
got-
So I mean,
It-
450 different vehicles and all the customization options. So
Right.
it's gonna be a lot to do in there, and that's a Game Pass game.
Yeah.
So
All the
Xbox
Xbox
exclusives.
exclusives are.
definitely gonna be playing that one.
So is Ori 2 and the Will of the Wisp, by the way.
Is it? I gotta play the first one. Is that on Game Pass?
Xbox exclusive. It's
It's
going
on
to be.
Game
That is?
Pass, yes.
Yeah, I want to play that one. I
Where
told
did you
Jake earlier when we
It's
were
$10
talking.
on Game Pass
$10 on Game Pass for Ori?
That's gonna be I think the
for
first
the
game
full
I
deluxe
play
edition.
on Xbox is gonna be Ori. The game looks fantastic.
I finished it. It's very sweet.
Did you cry?
It has a
Tears.
very sweet ending.
Was there a tear?
There were a few tears
There are
shed.
many tears.
It really sets up for the second one quite a bit.
It's a direct.
It's a direct
direct.
sequel.
I would say it's probably right after.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
I like it when it's like that. Dragon Age kind of does that.
Don't talk about Dragon Age, Kevin.
Oh, Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition did it.
But yeah, so
I mean, Origins. Well, Dragon Age 2 was.
I'm
kinda-
Whoa,
skipping over
whoa,
this
what did
part
you
of
say?
it. So
What did you say?
What?
About Origins? Did you just say something negative about Origins?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, good.
I said Dragon Age
We're still
2
friends.
also took place like a little before.
Anyway.
Origins.
off
Yeah,
of
it is.
Dragon
Doesn't
Age and in games that are actually recent. All of the
Wow.
new games that are exclusive that are coming out for Xbox are going to be on Game Pass. So that just to add to that list that we've got, Gears of War, Halo.
You really think those games are going to be on there?
I mean, Forza
They've
is a
said
$60
all
game.
new
man.
game exclusives. Yeah.
Normally, yeah.
They're going for it then. That's
Going for
their
it.
future. They're going.
I mean, it's
subscription
subscription
based.
based.
I'm okay with that, honestly.
They're going to do it. I am not.
You're not?
No.
Because you don't own the license?
Exactly.
That's it.
Well, you still have that choice.
What do you mean?
You can buy if you have Game Pass, you can buy right off there, and it's at a discount for you.
But you're buying the digital is his thing. It's
oh yeah, I mean yeah,
you don't
can
own
still
the
buy
disc
the,
that has
Yeah.
the
right.
hard copy. Yeah, sorry, I forgot you're 1,000 years old.
It's
He's
it's
just
not
terrified
that.
of
It's
the
just
future.
if there was a
future
way to
scares him.
guarantee
He
that
told
I'm
the
not
future
going
to get
to
off his
lose
lawn.
my game
Access.
access because of malfunction or because the company goes bankrupt and they have to turn the servers off, or if they just decide to cut costs and turn the servers off, or if 20 years go by and they
Fable,
say,
Lions had closed and Fable servers are all still good. So I think Microsoft takes
picked them up.
when they're if that occurs.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying
No, I'm
possibilities.
just saying if it does, it seems like
exist.
they have a countermeasure
When the
for it.
apocalypse happens.
By the way,
I-
I could go home.
I
and
can
jump
tell
into
you
Dragon
something
Age Origins
that you
right
probably
now,
don't
so
remember.
Don't hate on that game.
Origins is amazing. It's the best in the series.
For
My favorite
everybody
game
who
of all
can't
time.
watch
Easily.
right now, Brennan just held up a finger to me like I was a
He did.
petulant child
That's precisely what he is.
Can
And
we get
then
the
I
replay
hit
on
him on
that?
the other side.
with the point. I stared straight ahead at
You did.
Jacob.
Terrific game.
Jake should have double pointed at him.
I
He
can't.
blew it.
He's too gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
So he's going to
okay.
triple point at him. Anyway,
One single point under the
Okay.
table.
what I was.
How Dragon Age Origins spiraled into this. I don't
Oh
know.
man,
I apologize.
going
But yeah,
to the deep roads.
great reference.
That's what we're gonna
Great.
go to right now.
And then it turned into that. All right.
All right,
But
great.
if they do,
If you're
Halo
still here
Infinite,
and
if
listening,
you're still-
Yeah.
Halo Infinite, I want to be excited for, but after Guardians and 4, I can't really be excited.
I just
for
want him to
it.
come out and be like, "Hey, it's open world," and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
Yeah, there,
I'm pretty sure it's a
Sign me up.
soft reboot.
If there was
Come on, guys.
progression, I would. That'd be awesome.
This
Honestly,
is-
from
that's what most games are headed towards.
Yeah,
right
without a
now
doubt.
is
I think it's gonna be
less
open world.
linear.
Honestly,
I think so,
I think so too.
but I want them to confirm it
based
so
on
that
the
I can.
trailer they showed for it. It looked open world.
This is Master Chief's largest and greatest adventure. These are keywords.
Saving humanity.
Yeah, And this is all before anything that you had already played, so
Right.
it's essentially a reboot. So,
Good.
one thing I just wanted to touch on
Save
about
it.
the possibility of game companies going under. Sega was on top of the world, and they folded because PlayStation came out and undercut them and
Slap
stole
that Dreamcast out of everyone's hands.
Yeah. So just because somebody's on top right now doesn't mean that they can't go out. And when they go out,
That's a different.
It
world.
would take
All
a
those-
provide you a
financial
service.
anomaly, the likes of which this world has never seen, to take out Microsoft or Sony.
that is exactly what happened to Sega.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
That was a competitor, though, directly taking their business. Who's going to challenge Microsoft and Sony
at this
point in
they,
our lives?
like they run gaming. So even if a
it
new
would be
if
massive.
a new game, like an entire new system were to come out, you know what Microsoft or Sony would do? They'd be like, "Hey,
They would destroy it. They would band together.
you're now part of Microsoft."
That's what we
You're
need
missing
for
my point
cross-platform.
here.
No, I mean I understand.
A new company
doom
trying
and
to sell
Point
gloom
is,
and
is not
apocalypse.
doom and gloom apocalypse. The point is, if I own this game 40 years from now, I can put that game in and play it.
You think they'll have
If
40
I
years?
stream this
Will
game,
you be alive
40 years
in
from
40
now,
years?
I hope so.
Can you live to 127 years old?
I really hope so. If I stream the game, I may not be able to
right.
because
I
it may not
understand your
exist.
point.
So I paid the same price for two games. I own one. I don't own the other one. I
What's
don't
that,
like that.
Grandpappy?
That's understandable.
This is called a disc.
That's basically how
You
I
think they'll
talk to
have,
him right now.
Backwards compatibility from a 40-year-old game.
For the Xbox 470.
It'll be like 720 by that point. I
Oh, there's
promise.
some
It'll be
weird
the
number that's gonna be
Xbox
on
3
1080.
XYZ.
They should have
They're
stuck
going the
with Scorpio.
Pokemon route.
Scorpio
Yeah,
was so
Pokemon
cool.
XY.
Such a cool name.
I agree,
Poke-
100%.
Scarlet.
This is the Xbox One Double X.
Take my money. Have it.
So,
all of it.
Yeah, like
At this point, it's $1,000 console.
Bought.
I just can't believe the X is still $600. That's outrageous.
The X is it still 600?
Let's confirm that.
It's $5.99, right?
I got kidneys. I only need one.
Is it $4.99 or $5.99?
I thought it was.
Oh, that was $4.99.
Please hold.
You think it's $4.99?
Jake's got two kidneys. I'll take one of those.
Yeah, he
Nobody
doesn't
needs
need
While
one.
one.
he's looking that up, I know we're nearing the end of the show here, but
Oh,
we
shit,
gotta,
it is.
We got to bring up Anthem.
$5.99, right?
$4.99.
$4.99.
Oh, yeah,
It's-
500.
$4.69 pre-owned, guys.
Woohoo!
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So we're touching on Anthem a little bit before we close the show.
Just because there's not too much to add,
I mean, there is a lot to add.
You think so?
Well,
Based on
not
what
to
we've already
us
talked
because
about,
we've been
but-
talking about it, but they've, like, Mark's been very busy on Twitter.
Yes. I thought we touched on that quite a bit in the last podcast.
Yeah, we did.
Let's touch on it some more.
He wants to touch
touch
on
all-
so
all over
much.
it.
He's
I'll
just
touch
ready
all
to
over it.
touch. Like,
So I can add a whole bunch, but the first thing I want to touch on, this is actually some people are gonna have fears about this. The pre-order bonus, if you buy the Legion of Dawn edition, which is
Do
like
it.
the advanced edition, it's an extra $10 or something. It's
It's 80. 79.
yeah, over the pre-order. It comes with a legendary gun.
Yeah.
Which is like pay to play for a lot of people. A lot of people are
Which-
concerned about it.
There's no PvP, so I really
However,
don't have an issue with
There's
that.
there's
Me
also
either.
no PvP. And Mark has already come on Twitter and said you can get a similar type gun in the beginning of the game.
It's a
not going to be
bonus.
OP
Yeah, it's
through the
not.
whole thing
it's
or
it's just
going to
be one of those games where you get the gun in the
It's a
beginning of the
pre-order
game,
bonus.
and
Yeah, it's
you know
like Mass Effect.
it's gonna ride you for a couple levels, and then that's the end.
One thing that
Yeah.
would have been cool, and Dragon Age 2 to this, was possibly the only good thing they did about that game. If you got a pre-order bonus, you got weapons that leveled up with you.
Yeah.
So the stronger you got, the stronger they got. I would have liked something like
So they
that.
didn't come out to be useless. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's
Although that was
not
kind of a useless game.
it's
so I
not
can't
going
really-
to be useless. He said it's definitely going to be. He said you can get a gun similar to that in the beginning of the game.
Right.
So if you get a legendary drop, it can be a gun similar. So he's saying that it's not OP. It's not going to be something that.
Well, it's OP. It's
It's-
still a legendary gun in the
Yeah,
game.
at the
but
I
beginning.
think
not-
it's going to be exactly what
Yeah,
we're saying. It's
it's-
going to be an OP from this time,
But
and then
like minimal
to
OP.
level like 5 or 10,
Yeah.
then it's
Right,
gonna be trash.
exactly.
And
So
then
it
gives you a
move
little bit of
on.
an
and it's not going to be
advantage, which
trash
is
either
okay.
because they still have the modification methods and they still have the whatever that we can take care of with it. So
Which your new legendary will be better than.
yes,
So it's trash.
so that it's just I know a lot of people are going to have this fear when they read that this pre-order bonus does include a legendary gun.
The armor looks so good, by the way.
Oh yeah, just get the pre-order, guys.
So
That's all
good.
I'm saying. Just get the pre-order because the armor is awesome anyway, and they made a specific designation in the when they talk about this pre-order, the Legion of Dawn edition, that they kind of gives you a little bit of hint about something, and that is they call them armor kits instead of skins because the Legion of Dawn edition has different armors for the suits as well.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So they're not only like a skin, like the color and the design, they're the specific helmets, the shoulder pads, the chest, and the legs
It's a
will
unique
all be
set
different.
piece.
Yes, and that's a specific designation that a lot of people have missed because they have confirmed that armor and things like that will be different for people, so that even if you're playing the same, if we're both storms, we can have a different helmet on, and then on top of
Right.
that all that different armor, then you
You
can
get to
customize the
look
color as
unique.
well.
So that you're not.
Right.
Everybody
We'll all be
has
running
this
around with
weapon. Everybody
N7
has this
guns,
gear.
So I don't know
Yeah.
about unique.
I
I
will
wouldn't-
definitely have N7 on.
What I wouldn't
100%.
give for the set piece concept though, wouldn't that be nice? Like a Diablo-esque set piece, like you have a whole set of armor or weapons that you'd have to
Like
carry.
Division.
Yeah, they give you
Division
benefits.
does that.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna do
Like
that.
That
Kingdom
would
Come
be awesome.
Deliverance.
I'm
Do
down
we
for
know if
that
they're
shit.
doing that? Or
No,
not?
I don't
think
so.
they are,
They
but-
won't have that.
They haven't said anything.
Oh my
Best
god,
armor
that sounds so
system in
good.
gaming, by the way. We've never talked about
For
it.
what?
Kingdom Come Deliverance, easily the best armor set.
Easily.
Yeah.
They had like 19 slots.
Oh wow.
There was your actual armor, your under armor, your like leggings, and then whatnot. I mean, they were knights. They wore a lot of shit.
This is true.
So,
Quick bullet point list that GameSpot put together for the updates that they got.
Mhm.
Even if you're not in a group with them, other players can still interact with you.
Mhm.
Strangers will even be able to revive you if they happen to run across you after you've fallen in combat.
Or
There will
you
be-
can to
or
add to that.
teabag them and laugh as they die.
No, there's no griefing mechanic. So
No
even if two guys come up and one guy can't hold the button and stop the other guy from reviving you, which has been a problem in a lot of games. And on top of that, you can self-revive at one of they have like supply depots
I
where
was
you
just
pick up
saying, laugh at them and keep going.
where you pick up ammo
and
and stuff, and
Right.
you can automatically respawn at one of those.
Currently, there's no friendly fire in the game, but the team hasn't decided if that's going to stay.
It's
that way.
gonna,
it's a
it's gonna
no.
stay that way.
no friendly fire.
There won't be friendly fire.
Which
just
is
because-
great because the whole point is unloading on the
Right.
enemies.
Right.
And think about how difficult that would
Jake
be. So if
die a
I'm if
lot of
Jake's
time.
if Jake's running Colossus, he's running in the
But
middle.
that's what I'm saying.
He's
Like
kind
the
of a
Colossus
hands-on.
point is to be a tank. So
Yeah.
if
you
we're all
fucking
launching
stand there
our
on fire
supers
all
in
the whole time.
there,
Yeah, like he's
like the
dead.
Rangers 100
That's-
rockets thing.
that's
Jake's
what I
dead.
mean.
Oh yeah, he's
He's
over.
gone.
To be fair, when
Yeah.
we all played Monster Hunter World, I'm pretty sure there's enough friendly fire between all of us.
That's true.
That longsword got in the way of many of you.
Everything. That wasn't really friendly
Literally
fire though.
everything.
That was just
That was
It
a-
was friendly.
It,
No,
it
it
was a
was-
friendly
He
fire.
smacked
would
with
get
my
me
legs
hurt.
at
That
least
was-
100
it would
times
get
the
me
fight.
hurt.
that was just bad mechanics.
I broke his kneecaps a couple
No,
times.
No, because the thing is, you can use it to launch people so they can mount the dinosaurs.
I mean,
So
that's a great idea.
It was in there for a
but
reason, but
it
when you have
failed.
Jakes
No, it
who
succeeded.
just want to
I've done it that way.
long sword you 100 times a fight.
Brennan and I have comboed for that because he used the switch axe and I used the
Oh, switch axe was so good.
Yes,
I love that.
yes, it was.
what was that called?
Not the switch axe. I
What
used
did
the charge
use?
blade.
The charge blade.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Charge
So-
blade.
What did I use?
Switch
Yeah,
axe.
switch axe.
What is that called?
Yeah.
You used
Not for
the bug lance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the charge blade
the-
was amazing.
Charge blade.
What was the bug lance called?
Insect lance.
Insect
blade?
blade.
The glaive, yeah.
That's what I used.
The scars aren't technically alien, but they're not exactly human either.
Right. There
You
are
will-
theories on that, by the way. Would you like me to share?
No, we're gonna move on.
Okay.
You will be able to upgrade javelins
No,
flight
launch into
time
a
if you want to
theory.
explore further and faster.
That's your pilot.
You can't change your javelin mid-mission. We imagine this means that if you run out of charge on the javelin you've chosen for a particular mission, you'll fail.
No.
No?
I don't know what they mean by that.
Because your javelins have charge to them.
They
Not
have
that I've
booster
heard. Your
charge. I'm pretty sure.
jetpacks have to be cooled
Yeah.
down.
So what you? Yeah.
Is it just a cooldown then?
Yes, it's
That's
a
all it is?
cooldown
I
period.
think you have to find water.
No, it cools. It's a timed cooldown at the same
Or
time,
water,
or you can
right.
go in water and it'll cool it down. I don't know what they're talking about with the charge.
Maybe they misunderstood.
Yeah.
Javelins
Or maybe
cannot
they're
be
hearing stuff we
permanently
haven't seen
destroyed.
yet.
Oh.
What did you say?
I said, or maybe they're hearing stuff we haven't seen yet. I mean, it's possibility. I think that'd be really
it sounds
dumb.
like
and it
they're
doesn't
talking
seem-
about the
It sounds
cooldown
like
thing.
they think they're. Yeah.
They're talking about the charge.
Yeah.
Because in the panel that they did, that Andrea did, they talked about the charge when they were flying.
Yeah, that's
So I'm pretty sure that's what they're alluding to.
And
it's
they-
so
yeah,
they sound very misinformed.
they're
Yeah.
a little bit confused.
They're just confusing. There's so much info that came out. So,
I do not accept that.
What's the
So-
next one?
they're saying no post-launch plans yet, but Mark said he isn't opposed to the possibility of a melee-based javelin or implementing
that'd be awesome.
interchangeable melee weapons for the 4 current ones.
Yep. And the reason for that is
I would
because
hop
each
on
one
that
has a
immediately.
specific one. And I think there will be a
Straight
melee.
swordsman.
It has been very commonly asked.
Are you thinking the Interceptor might be more of a melee style?
No, it's
I think if it would be, it's going
More
to
of
be the
your
same thing as like a thief or a rogue, where you're going to have to do
Right.
damage
I
moving
think it's
around a
high
lot.
DPS, hop in, hop out.
that's
Right.
exactly
You
what I'm
think so?
thinking. But it's also long range.
Yeah,
That's your
Long
sniper
range?
class.
Oh, sniper class.
that's your
what I was
sniper
about to
class.
say.
Just
Think of Mass Effect 3 Infiltrator. Think
Yeah,
of that.
Infiltrator.
Is the,
I got to think Mass Effect. You're right.
yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be similar.
Yeah.
Class based anyway.
Anthem will feature a colorblind mode.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yep. Just for accessibility reasons.
You can respec your freelancer's skills,
Oh,
so that's cool.
nice.
I actually hadn't heard that one, so that is very cool.
There is no plan for crossplay between console and PC at launch.
Hurt.
At launch.
At launch,
At launch.
which means it's
Well,
not
that's
gonna
because of frame rate issues.
Now that we're on the discussion of that, did we decide what we're buying it for yet?
I mean, I say Xbox because I have an X.
We
Kevin
should.
says Pro because he has a Pro.
We'll just decide because
happen. I'm just gonna have to get
we'll-
an X.
we'll go back
You're
and forth
gonna.
between
So
them.
you're just gonna
I-
have to say,
gotta see the
Kaylee, I
X,
just have to get an X. Okay.
I gotta see what that thing looks like in 4K. You guys should bring it over here so I can see it.
Yeah, let me
Gotta
just
see it in
cart it
4K.
around.
What, are you
My
scared to move it around?
$1,000 piece of equipment. It
Yeah.
sits on my
You
table
paid
and it
double
does not
price?
move.
No, it was 600. I paid
Did you
double
buy it
price
on
for my
eBay?
Switch.
I got it at like day one,
I paid $600
a couple
for my
months
Switch
after release.
the day
Wow.
it released
Why?
Mistakes.
because I didn't
Oh, you didn't pre-order it?
know
Where'd you get it?
A person.
some random.
A rando?
Yeah,
Mistakes were made. Right there.
They
No.
were
no, I played Breath of the Wild as soon as it came out. I was
one of the
Mm.
best games ever made.
never gonna complain.
No,
never
I
gonna
wouldn't
complain
either.
that I
That's
paid
worth-
that for that.
That's worth it. What's this look over here?
I've
What is
never
it?
played it, so I
Oh,
have no opinion on the
Good.
matter. I've heard it's
what
really
else?
good,
They
that's all.
say missions are specifically designed for 4 players, even if Anthem can be played 1 to 4.
Which we
We
figured.
Already
I
knew
mean,
that,
like
And
they
they've already said
single
that-
player is going to be hard.
You can do the story solo, everything like that. But and that the main reason for that is because they the javelins are unlocked through the story,
Yep.
so they want everybody to be able to get them, even if you don't have a group.
So there were 3 left. That was one of them. The other 2, I didn't know, or if I did, I had forgotten. There is fall damage, so be careful when landing.
Yeah, we
Yep, we talked about that.
Yeah, we
Because
talked
the
about that.
Colossus
I
has
forgot
no
about it.
fall damage.
Because it's heavily armored.
Oh,
The Ranger
okay.
has
They're-
less fall
actually, yeah, I
damage.
do remember.
Yeah,
the
they're
Storm
based on
has
where
the
you
most
are.
because it's Storm
Uh,
Interceptor
Interceptor.
probably.
And the
has
other
most.
the other thing is all javelins have the same movement speed outside of combat.
Right.
I think we did talk about that.
Which
too.
is-
We actually hadn't talked about
That's
that
actually
one yet.
weird.
That one's so that like if you're flying to a mission or something, you're not ditching like your Colossus isn't flying 55 miles behind.
No,
you.
because
Yeah,
it's
it's like travel
also
speed.
running.
Yeah.
So my thing is Colossus should probably move slower than say the
No,
Interceptor.
because it does in combat. It's just so you get one. So if I'm playing
Flying,
Colossus,
I understand same speed, but when you're like walking,
yeah, but if I'm
it
playing
just
Colossus and,
physically
and
doesn't make
your Interceptor
sense.
and your Stormer
Right.
running around,
If we had to-
leaving me way
I
behind,
guess
and
it
the
makes
mission
sense
starts.
if I'm 500 yards in front of you.
Yeah,
just sprint.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the point is,
And
so
the whole point is
we
to
don't
keep
get
the
group
lost,
together,
yeah.
right?
yeah.
It's a very
Understand it.
group-oriented multiplayer
It's
game.
like, okay,
and they want it
we're
to
here.
make-
Where's the tank?
You
Oh,
guys
he's
should
way
just be able to
behind.
teleport to me. That's all I
See,
want.
yeah.
Teleportation.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see some of these storm abilities. I'd
Well,
like to see
teleport's
more.
already one of them. We know, so
Yeah, we do know that
we've
one.
witnessed.
He
it.
also currently has he can hover indefinitely right now. They don't know if they're going to leave it that way though.
I really want to see more of these abilities.
Yeah,
I
me
want
too.
to see Interceptor. I mean, we've seen everyone but Interceptor. so-
Interceptors
It-
locked. They
Which
got
makes
that
me
one
think
locked.
it's going to be incredibly cool because they really want to save it and then be like, "Hey, look at this." and it'll be 3 weeks before the game comes out, and everybody will be like, "Oh my god,
We already called it.
we're all playing interceptors. Everybody's in interceptors."
Snipe them. When they get close, we all die. So snipe them before they get close, or we suck.
We're gonna have to call out our targets because
Snipe! Ah, the one got close to us. We're dead.
No, that's it.
All right, restart.
Titans coming for us.
It's the same thing as like having all storms.
I think storms would be harder just because they're such glass cannons.
Storm.
Yeah, but
is
are
their
the
glass
interceptors
cannon.
though? They could be too.
I mean, I'm sure they
Well,
are.
the
just less
interceptor's
so.
distance though, so if something does come up on you, you're able to
It's
get away
over.
from it.
Oh well, yeah, because
You're
they're quick,
speed
right?
based,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the storm has that teleportation
Teleport, right.
though. So.
But only during his hover.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they'll probably leave it indefinite just because
I
you're
think
probably
so.
going to want to be hovering in
Well,
combat as
The
a
whole
storm.
idea behind it, he's an elemental. He controls the elements.
Right.
So it really just makes sense that he can be like, oh, while I'm hovering, I don't heat up or whatever.
So you can't fly indefinitely, just hover.
Just hovering, yes. But the cool thing about that is it changes your the combat is based on what position you're in. So if you're flying, you have your own different combat system. If you're hovering, you have a different combat system, and if you're on the ground, you have a different combat system.
So
I wonder if they're going to do like a skill bar that changes based on sky or ground. That'll be interesting
Yeah.
how they do that.
Well, we saw in the trailer how they've done it so far. They have the little button, but they've shown it in two separate ways in the trailer. At the beginning, when it was first discussed, it was at the bottom of the screen,
Yeah.
and you saw it that way. But in the latest trailer, they had it kind of in a block over to the right,
Yeah.
where you could see everything.
Probably
So,
still messing with
they're
the
just,
HUD.
yeah, they're messing
Yeah.
with it.
Or maybe it might be a movable HUD too.
That
Could
would be
be.
cool.
Yeah,
that
could
would be
be.
cool.
You set it up how you want to see it.
Customize
That would
it.
be very cool.
I think it'll be robust. I don't know if it'll be that robust, as you were saying.
Like different. Well, I don't know. Because with
I want there to be choices, but I don't want to be overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
so what do you
As in,
think
if
it will be?
I'm on the ground, these are my skills, but if I bounce in the air, these are my skills now.
No,
Didn't-
if you hover.
Didn't you play WoW?
Yeah, I was not
This
overwhelmed.
was a
with
man who spent thousands of hours in WoW.
Yeah, but the
Talking
point
about
is,
it.
WoW.
Let me
gave
tell you something about
50,000
what you saw on my screen on World of Warcraft. It was
A lot
not
of
the game.
Flashes.
All you saw was stats. That's it. Stats and alarms when to hit the buttons. I did my job. So
He hit those buttons well.
hit the buttons.
Enjoyed that
Yeah,
game
but
a
that's-
lot.
Maximum DPS.
If you've played an MMO, the idea of things changing or
No,
like
just-
attacks.
It's not going to.
No, I'm not talking
whole
about that. I'm
discussion.
talking about like if you're on the ground or in the air or hovering, having 3 different transitions into different abilities.
That's
I'm
not
down
how
for
it
that.
works.
That's just too much.
It's
For a
just it
console
changes
game,
the
it's
way
just too
your
much.
combat works, like the decisions you have to make. So
Yeah.
it's still going to be the same skills, but say like in the trailer they showed that you're flying at the Ash Giant, or Ash Titan, sorry,
I thought you said ass giant. I'm not gonna lie.
Ash, ASH. It just changes the way you view it and the choices you make, like mobility wise, because obviously, so if I'm the Storm, my hover, I have a teleport, right? But if I'm the Ranger, I have a different thing entirely, and so on and so forth. So it just changes the way you have to think about it, and kind of the group mechanic, but also the way you have to look at going into a fight beforehand. I can't think of the word right now. Strategic, the
Yeah.
strategy you have to employ.
Yeah.
So it changes the strategies you're going to be able to use, whether
That
you're
I'm okay with.
on the ground, in the air, or
Yeah.
hovering.
I just hope they have a good skill bar, like how they do it, because
They will.
you say that, but you look at, say, Andromeda's. where
Don't
they promised.
Compare it to Andromeda.
I'm not comparing. I'm just their latest game, my man.
Different team. Completely different team.
That's always a different team, but it's just
No, it was. This is the
He
team
was hurt,
from the
okay?
original trilogy,
He was hurt.
yes, but
which
I
was
want
fantastic.
it to be more like Dragon Age. Even in, say, Mass Effect 3 or 2, it was like 3 skills, and that's what you could use.
Yeah.
And it worked. I want more skills, though.
I would
No.
like more skills
Like
too.
even
There's not.
Elder Scrolls Online, it has like the lower bar. There's only 5.
I would like more
want,
skills.
20.
I would
Maybe
like more
20
skills to go into and be able to choose. I don't want them changing on the battlefield for me.
Right,
Well,
for sure. I agree.
The way that
but
skills work in this, though, it's not like you don't. it's not your pilot skills that you're seeing there. It's whatever gear you have equipped. So
The gear gives you the skills.
yes, exactly.
I don't know how I feel about
So
that.
the only thing that doesn't change is your supers. Always the supers that they use are always the same for your.
Do we have
thing.
multiple supers?
No, there is only one so far at launch that they planned, which is the only thing that does hurt me.
Kind
Well,
of
you
a
have
letdown.
4, but it's dependent on whatever one you want to use, whatever javelin.
Or
you
is it
like.
just one announced?
No, they've said
They've said it's just
there's only one right now. It's the skills around them
That's
that change,
painful.
like the abilities you have active. That's dependent on whatever gear you want to equip to your javelin.
So how many
They're,
skills per then, dependent on gear?
it's
Depends
going to
on
be
the loadout, I guess.
yeah, it's going to be your loadout. So you're going to have 2 skills and your super, from what they've shown so far, and then like whatever guns you have or whatever that's going
I
on.
mean, that's a lot like Mass Effect, but that's what I wanted to change. So
It's not.
it's going to be more gunfighting then. Is
Yeah.
what's gonna be
Yeah,
the
I mean-
focus more than say.
Well, when you
your
think of the
skills.
skill system they're mentioning, a lot of it is your pilot skills. So your pilot skills they haven't talked anything about. All we know is that your pilot you can upgrade your pilot skills to make your javelins fly further without overheating. So that's the
Maybe-
only thing we know about pilot skills so far. They
Maybe you
haven't
can
gone into
unlock
it
more
whatsoever.
skill bars down the road.
Right, and that could be a
Maybe.
thing. Where you could,
I'm just.
I'm
like,
sure, actually, when you think about that, you can, when you actually put that thought in, to be able to attach more things to your javelin, I'm almost positive that'll be a pilot skill.
Well, see, this is concerning for me because when you think about it from the aspect of the Colossus
Mhm.
or Ranger, even, it's not a big deal. But when you're thinking of the Storm, who they are saying is the mage, and you're only going to give him 2 abilities, that's kind of
Well, so the storm works in a different way. He's
You would have to,
elemental, so you attach 2 elements to him, so he can do different things with the elements.
it's kind of like a fusing system then.
Yeah, so he in the one they showed, he had electricity and ice. So he had 2 abilities
Love it.
attached to him.
That's pretty good.
That's really
That-
So with him it's elemental. So he's a little bit
Interceptor
different.
is
We don't
actually the
know
biggest
too much
one.
about him, but they did say when he in the trailer they showed us he had electric and ice attached to him. So that could actually impact the way his hover works as well. So he may have a different teleport or something like that if his elements are different.
The interceptor was actually the one I'm more worried about because it's small. What can you really equip to it? Is
Yeah.
snipers.
And it will
that's a gun. That's not.
There you go.
well the guns are
He's
another,
Cloak.
just a sniper. Go.
Cloaking ability, sniping.
the guns
That's
are
all you
another
need.
aspect as
Straight
well because
infiltrator.
there's
300% damage.
They're
when
class-
you're cloaked.
There
There
are
you
class
go.
specific guns as well. So
Yeah.
like only the Colossus can use a light machine gun.
By the way, guys,
Yeah.
best class in Mass Effect, Infiltrator all the way.
You could
Pistols.
solo multiplayer.
Pistols
with it.
can only
easily.
be used by Rangers. Like the Colossus can't use pistols, basically.
Because
So,
his hands are too big. That makes sense.
so there
Honestly,
are
in a
there's a
physical
lot of
sense.
customization and stuff dependent on your
Oh
javelin.
no, I'm not saying. I'm not taking anything away from what they're doing.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
just,
No, I
just
understand.
want
I
more
was a little
information.
bit.
I want to see the skills.
I was a
system.
little
bit
That's what I
upset
wanna
when
just
see.
like
I-
to get a view of
when
it.
I heard the supers that you only had 1 super and you had to select. I think the gear will change that a little bit. I think your super will do different things.
Like it can be embellished.
That doesn't bug
Exactly.
me so much.
It's going to
'cause
be prettier, more advanced, or like the Colossus's super. We see he shoots a little nuke and it
Yeah.
like does a whole bunch of damage and blows up a whole
Clears the
building.
whole area.
There may be something that allows him to shoot multiple or things like that
Scatter
that could be
instead.
changed.
I'm
Yeah,
actually fine if they just leave it with like the base supers.
Yeah.
That they give you because they're meant to be used and comboed together. I would assume. So you probably get like super damage and
well, plus it means they put a whole bunch of thought and time into that.
right. I don't.
The only one the only
think they're
2 we
gonna
know
change
about
it
are the
based on what
Ranger,
we've seen, but
the Ranger and the Colossus, which are both really cool supers.
was the Rangers
Yeah.
the 100 missiles?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
super?
the
Yeah, and then the Colossus
Barrage.
shoots like a nuke that does a whole bunch of
Does-
damage.
clears out the whole area.
I need to see the interceptor.
I
Yeah.
agree.
When do you think we see the Interceptor?
I don't know.
Gamescom?
I don't know. It might be Gamescom. They might be
It's
saving
August.
it for that, but I don't know. I don't know why you'd save something for Gamescom when E3 is kind of the big thing of the year.
They're gonna save it for a release. I say, just not gonna show us.
No, because Mark has
No,
been
they'll
asked
show.
this question
They'll show.
hundreds of times on Twitter. They're always asking about it because the Interceptor's cool looking, honestly.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, we're saving that for later. Saving that for later." If they ask about
Release. Launch.
abilities for the interceptor, he says later. He doesn't specify. So I'm honestly not sure when. Gamescom is probably
Could be, well, if they're
the
going to hold
safest
it,
bet.
second bet would either be, second and third would probably be PSX, because PlayStation, Sony's going to have to turn around their E3 tragedy. So they're going to have something big for PSX, or
He hopes.
maybe even the Game Awards, because the Game Awards, they do a lot of reveals there. So
Right. Yeah.
could be there too. And that's in December, getting close to
Honestly,
release.
the
which
thing that I
is-
think it may be in the demo. So
Do we know when that is?
when you get the pre-order, no, not confirmed anyway. So when you get the pre-order, it lets you know that you are getting access to demos or betas, and it could be that they're saving it for that, and they want you to be like, "Wow, this is incredible! My very first playthrough is with the Interceptor, like, your very
doubt it.
first time touching the game,
That would be awesome.
I'm
The demo
pretty sure you're
build
probably going
being
to get the E3
Interceptor.
build and play that.
the Ranger."
Yeah.
That is the one you start the game with. So
So that comes out on February 22nd, right?
yes,
Any
Same.
last words on that game, Anthem?
I'm
Nothing?
excited.
Pretty hyped for that one.
Yep.
All right, so I guess that's all the time we have for this week. I want to thank you all for listening, and I also want to thank you guys for being here, joining me on the panel.
Always.
Don't forget, you can find us at tsgg.online. We have articles there, and the podcast is there as well if you want to listen there. Also, on there, you can send us a message directly, and we will read it on the show. Twitter and YouTube as well. Patreon.com/TSGG is where you can help us continue to make better content for you. Check out our levels and subscribe if you can. If you can't, that's okay too. You only have to wait a handful of days more, and you can find us on all of the podcast services out there for free. Have a great week, everybody.
Catch you later.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.